Whoa.
and then we have something to post later.
Did we decide on an acronym?
Yeah, the S was either stunts or stuntman to let people know that that's what we're talking about, or a $6 billion
Or the fun
man
option. Yes.
to be a little more obscure. And then the T was truck or Taylor Swift playing in a truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the most iconic scene of the movie.
Mhm.
We were really detailed with these. E was Emily Blunt's co-star Ryan Gosling, and then M was Emily Blunt. Which is really good. It's the result of a wonderful brainstorming session, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, show me what you need.
I feel like it really just covers all the bases of what's important in the movie.
Yeah, that's true. We've got the main things. It's about stuntmen. There's that iconic scene, and then we're talking about Ryan Gosling, and then also Emily Blunt, but
yeah,
only in association with
there.
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the movie. So I remember saying to you, "Oh, Emily and Hailey and I watched The Fall Guy, and we should have them on the podcast." And you were like, "It turns out that I have been accidentally listening to the soundtrack, so I guess it would be good to watch it." What was that?
Yeah, that's true. I was what's the I was made for loving you, baby, you were made. That one.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just kept popping up in my shuffle. I was like, this song slaps. I haven't heard this cover before. And then I just clicked through the other songs on the album. I saw the cover art, but I didn't pay any attention to it at all.
Right.
So that's how that started. And then I watched the movie
this
today.
is a funny album that has like 4 different versions of that Kiss song. Huh. Like I'm not even thinking about it.
Yeah, but I really liked it. Thought it was a lot of fun. I've seen the original show, and it's one of those things where, you know, when you're like parents say, "Oh, we used to watch this when I was a kid," and you're like, "Wow, you guys are so old and so like the show's probably gonna be so boring and so dumb."
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like super good, like Seinfeld or MASH or Fall Guy. Because I was watching it, I was like, "This is from the '70s," and I wanted it to be really gross, and then it was just like so much fun. It was awesome.
It's just fun. It's super
a stunt
fun.
guy who just solves crimes when there aren't movies.
Like it's a murder mystery, but also it's a stunt guy. It's like 2 of the most exciting things that can happen.
I was not
and he
aware
takes
that
down rich guys.
Show.
Yeah, an old one from the '70s, and it slaps.
Yeah, and I think the movie like stands on its own really well. Like you wouldn't have to know the source material.
Right?
You're just like, this is Ryan
I don't
Gosling.
Think they even
it's so fun
it at all.
They have
like they just with like the.
I don't think they say it's based on the show, or at least I didn't see that.
They don't like say it explicitly. They do have like a mid-credit scene with Lee Majors, who was the original $6 million man, who was the original Fall Guy. But beyond that, it's just like some of the characters have the same names, and that's it. So it's its own thing for sure, which is great because that's something we've said a lot. Is like if you're gonna remake something or do a sequel, you can't follow it too closely and you can't make it too different. You have to love the original thing so much, but also make the new thing its own new thing.
Yeah. Right, because otherwise there's no point in remaking it. Like if it's just going to be exactly the same, don't do it. And if it's just going to be so different, like call it something else. No like point. It's obviously not a remake of this other thing.
Yeah. Do you guys want to say what your favorite parts of the movie were?
Sure, I have to think of them. Obviously, I mean, none of us can say the scene where he's crying in the truck to Taylor Swift because that's the most iconic. Because that's the obvious. That's going to be everybody's favorite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like saying, "Who's your favorite character in the Bible?" And you say someone, and they're like, "Not Jesus." Like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I do like at the end of that scene though, where she's like, "Can you drive me to my car?" And then it's like
Yeah.
2 feet away. That's awesome.
Yeah. I
Sounds
I
really
really
did
cool.
like
like
the scene. Oh.
Bye. Hello?
I'm not talking.
Oh, okay, your screen froze, and so I thought you just like
We were like,
disconnected
should
for
we
a second.
wait? But then,
Yeah.
yeah, it was like
I didn't
a
know you were
weird.
waiting for me. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I really like the scene when he sneaks into her camper after he's supposed to be dead, and she just like goes full out on him,
Yeah.
like
She
stabs
kills
him
him
with the
so
pen.
hard.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I
And
really
it's
like
like,
there's something about the scene that just keeps on going and it gets funnier the longer it
Keep
goes.
thinking it's gonna end.
Yeah.
yeah. But then she keeps like she comes back with the pen. Like she always has
Yeah.
another
She
move.
like
And
chokes
it's
him
like,
with the
how does
blender
she
cord.
learn how to do that? Yeah, the
Yeah.
blender cord, yeah.
And like who does she think it is attacking her?
Right. She's
Why
like,
didn't
somebody's
he
going
think
to kill
about
me. Saying
saying
something
something
first
before
Yeah.
sneaking up
before
and grabbing
tapping her
her?
on the shoulder. Yeah,
Well, I know,
weird.
and he just
And
goes,
like,
"Don't say anything," and then
don't say
like, what do you
anything.
think that's gonna do?
Yeah, like
With
of course
the
that's the most
alien
ominous
voice?
thing you could
No.
say.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, instead of saying like it's me first thing, he says don't say anything. So then, like of course you're gonna attack him. You think you're
Yeah.
gonna be murdered. But
Yeah.
then it still begs the question like she was a like filmmaker, like she's a camera person turned director.
Mhm.
How does she know how to do like prolong this fight scene for so
Yeah.
long? Like it just keeps going. You'd
Yeah.
think she'd run out of moves, but she just doesn't.
Yeah.
I have a theory that I just
So
came up with
great.
just now, which is that they want to give the stuntman like more screen time, you know? So they have him in the helmet and then they're like, let's just make this fight scene as long as possible so he can really like they can show off their skills, these two stunts people. You know?
Yeah.
That's cute. I like
Yeah.
that.
Because other than that, like it might just be comic relief too, that it just keeps going.
Yeah, I mean, it is after
The
the
two
most
things
like
can
stressful and sad scene in the whole movie.
Yeah.
So it
So you
makes
have to
sense to
lighten it
have
up a
some
little
like,
bit.
yeah, some comic relief, but
Yeah, that's true.
I really liked that the love story was like they establish it right at the beginning. Like it's not them falling in love. It's no, they're in love. They're together already. It's just a lack of good communication, and there's not like a really big miscommunication split up at the end of Act Two, which it
Mhm.
drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. It's obvious the whole time that they love each other, and then after he dies, she's like, "We're gonna find the people who killed you and framed you for murder. We're gonna like send them to jail. Are you insane? Like, obviously, we're gonna do that." And then they're just together, and it's like it's just kind of subtle, you know,
mhm.
not subtle. It's a big part of the movie, but like you know what I mean. It's not
But
Yeah.
the
it feels like a
focus.
more natural progression and there's other
Yeah,
stuff going on.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Instead of it
The
just being
drama
like we have
isn't
to
just them like, is it gonna happen or is it not? That's not the only thing happening in the movie.
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And they don't have to like oh, we don't have enough plot, so we have to make them break up because of a miscommunication and then see if they
Yeah.
will get back together by
Boo.
the end of the movie. Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
It's
like
like
my
there's
least favorite thing ever.
plenty. Yeah, it's so
Dude,
annoying.
tell me about it. We were just talking about this yesterday. Like, I
What
feel like a
if,
lot of times movies with that plot are already they're weak enough on their own, but
yeah.
anytime I
What
see that, I'm like, I'm logging off so fast.
yeah. What
Yeah.
if, hear me out, the characters get along and they love each other in a love story?
Whoa.
Is that too much to
Whoa.
ask
I
for?
don't know. It's crazy.
Yes, and you should be ashamed of yourself for asking.
Yeah. Where's the drama in that? Yeah, but this one there's like so much other stuff going on
Yeah.
that it's like we're not worried about that. Like they're gonna get
Yeah.
back together, that's fine. But it's like, how is he going to escape all the people who are framing him for murder and then trying to kill him with like a series of elaborate explosions? Like,
Yeah. And
that's
also,
kind of the
how
main
cool
focus.
can we make Ryan Gosling look while he's taking down people?
Exactly. Yeah.
He already looks cool on his own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was cast very appropriately, I think. Because you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
that like
Plus,
he's so big right now, especially coming off of like Barbie, and like people are kind of
Mhm.
seeing more and more like, oh, I've actually always liked him. So now he's like big enough that he's gonna draw people in to see the movie.
Yeah. Well,
I
and
think
I
it
think
works
he
really well.
became really relevant because of the Barbie movie to like the younger generation because I'm not gonna lie, I never paid attention to him because I had never seen any of his movies because they were kind of older than I was.
Hmm.
But then seeing him in the Barbie movie, I'm like, wow, this guy's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
watched like La La
correct.
Land and stuff, and I was like, okay, where can I get more? I get
Yeah.
it
It's
now.
nice to like you can like catch up on Ryan Gosling over
Yeah,
the years. Yeah. See what all
yeah.
the fuss was about. Yeah.
Haley, have you seen Crazy Stupid Love?
I don't think I have.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
you have to.
yes!
It's so funny.
Do that. Put that one. I don't care what's next on your list. Do that one next. That one.
Okay.
I don't know
Yeah,
why
it's
people don't talk about it
perfect.
more. It's
So
so
funny.
good.
Yeah, I feel like
He,
it's really
yeah,
underrated.
especially compared to other good rom-coms like Sleepless in Seattle or Love Actually, which they mentioned in The Fall Guy, by the way, and it took a point off of my enjoyment of it because he's like, "You watch
Yeah.
Love Actually every Christmas and you love it. You believe in true love," and I don't believe that anybody who believes in true love would watch Love
No,
Actually
I
and
think
think,
it's a
"Yes,
really
this is what it's about."
cynical that's a really cynical movie for somebody who says that they believe in true love. Haley, I don't know if you've seen it or how you feel about it. We're big haters.
I have not seen it, but now I know.
Don't bother.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a skip. It's
Okay,
way
good to
overrated.
know.
All the hype of Love Actually should go to Crazy Stupid Love.
That's
It's way
true.
better.
That's true. You've got what, like four overarching plot
Mhm.
lines?
It has a similar structure with the overarching plot lines that come together, and like you realize later into the movie that all the characters know each other. But I feel like
Mhm.
it's done funnier, more naturally,
And
just
more
overall better,
hopeful.
more enjoyable. Yeah. It's like nice.
It's a happy ending with all of them.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can say that about any of them in Love Actually. I have never seen it. I know what it's about and it makes me so viscerally angry.
Yeah. It's just like it's kind of bittersweet endings, I guess, was their like intention, but I didn't like it. Like there's
I
probably
like
just
love
other
stories
ways
where
to
I
do it, you
see
know?
I like love stories where I see them falling in love and liking each other and spending time together. And when I see movies like Sleepless in Seattle where they don't even meet at all ever for the whole movie. Have you seen Sleepless in
Yeah,
Seattle either?
Mm-mm.
that's
Yeah,
okay.
that's another
It's
one. People
another like
talk about it all the
overrated one.
time. And the two main characters who are meant to be like star-crossed lovers falling in love, they literally do not meet the whole movie. He is like telling a story on the radio and she hears it and is like, I'm in love with him. And it's like,
Mm.
great. And then the whole rest of the movie is her stalking him.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like in order for it to be actual love and not just like weird fanaticism, they would have had to meet each other a lot sooner in the movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they
Not
wait
the
until like
very
they
end.
meet each other at the very last scene of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's over and you're like, "Okay, so is it a romantic comedy or is there no romance in it?"
Yeah. Or is this a stalker?
That
I
one's a
was so
miss.
excited too, because going into it, it's Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, and I love them in You've Got Mail.
They're good and You've Got Mail. And
Yeah.
Meg Ryan is
Yeah,
like the rom-com, like When Harry Met Sally is like the greatest movie ever made.
that is true.
So you
That's
have high hopes for her.
that is one that I expected to be overrated going into it, because I've
Mm-hmm.
become kind of cynical with all these famous love story like romance movies with like Sleep in Seattle, Love Actually, all these ones where I went into When Harry Met Sally and I'm thinking I'm probably gonna be so annoyed. And then I get to the end and I think I guess I do believe in love. Okay.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that one, I do recommend that one. When Harry Met Sally and Crazy Stupid Love.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Oh, we also when we were at the cabin, we watched that new Netflix one, Love at First Sight, which we thought should be Love at First
Yeah.
Flight because they're on a plane. That one was actually really
Yes.
good
Oh,
too.
You told
which
me
I
about
want
that
to
one.
read the book for. Yeah. I was totally expecting it to be more because we also watched To All the Boys I Loved Before,
Uh-huh.
which is like that's such a weird genre that can only happen on Netflix where it's like almost adult, but it's like very clearly like I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like if Disney tried to make adult like movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
It's
That's
a
a good
like
really good
description. Yeah.
description.
It's like
they
very
swear,
teenager.
like they say inappropriate stuff or whatever, and there's like inappropriate scenes, but it all feels very Disney and like child friendly.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
It was weird to watch that one like on the same day as the newer one. It was like, yeah, just such a tonal shift of like, this one is obviously meant for adults. Like it has
Mhm.
a more kind of grown up storyline with like the mom and whatever, and versus the one that's like made for kids, but they talk about more adult things.
Yeah, it's weird because there's like scenes that you do not want kids seeing, or like there's things you don't want kids hearing about, but I almost couldn't get through it when I watched it the first time because I'm like, this is a kids movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. They're like always, yeah, like swearing and like talking about sex and whatever in a way that
Yeah.
is like a little bit too casual, I think, for a lot of like teenagers who
Well,
just
they try to make it sound
wouldn't be ready
casual,
for it.
but it
Yeah.
sounds very much like this was the one time they had permission to swear, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, very true. And then the other one is just more like it's more grown up. It's
It's
like
like an
meant for a grown up
actual romance.
audience. Yeah, an actual romance and not just like
Yeah.
a high school like fantasy romance. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was way better than I was expecting because I was expecting that like super cheesy, is it actually an adult movie or not?
Yeah. Yeah, I liked that one. It was sweet.
Mhm.
But it did make everybody tear up. So just
Yeah.
prepare yourself for that.
Love
There's
at
some
first
deep
sight?
cuts in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like the whole point of it, yeah, it is an actual romance and it's like very heartfelt and there's like grown up things happening, you know. But it's good.
Not
It's
to
a
give too
happy
much
ending.
away, but a mom has cancer.
It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't
But
wait to
it's so
watch it.
good. Yeah. You'll love it. I really enjoyed it.
This is like when we were talking about Napoleon Dynamite and got like weirdly emotional, except for there's like reason to get emotional with mom with cancer, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of a more everybody
Yeah.
feels emotional about mom with cancer. That's a
Yeah.
standard. You're supposed to feel, you're supposed to get a little teary. Yeah, but with Napoleon Dynamite, that video was so long. We
It
spent
was like
like
3.5 hours
we
long.
spent so long waxing poetic about the tetherball scene at the
The
end.
tetherball and how they view women. We
Yeah,
got so like,
we got
and we
into
were
it. It was
right.
good.
Like, yeah, we were absolutely correct. But oh my gosh, he just pops up.
Yeah, we were super correct. All of our takes were good, but it is like looking
Mm-hmm.
back, you're like, of all the movies for us to talk for 3 hours about, it was that one. Because forever.
Yeah, usually we keep it to a
Good
tight 90
job.
minutes.
Yeah. The length of any good movie.
Uh-huh.
Emily just texted. She's getting on now.
Oh, yes. Now we can
Oh,
officially start.
look at
So,
that. Look at that. I fitted this to my body. Where did these extra, this is an extra 8
yeah, you have
inches. Where did they
wings.
come from?
I don't know.
I think you should leave them on. They're a really good like fashion
Thanks.
statement.
Aw,
Yeah,
thanks.
it probably makes you
The
more
sleeves are,
aerodynamic.
Yeah.
I would hope so. Well, I'm gonna have big old sleeves that cover the top too, so maybe I can connect them so I'm like a flying squirrel.
Oh, that would be
Yes.
good. Emily has
Mm-hmm.
entered the waiting room.
You should leave her in there.
Like, bye. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I'm so glad I could make it. Sorry I'm so late.
How
So
was your
good.
date?
It's good.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm Whitney, by the way.
Oh, hi, Whitney. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Are you making a shirt right now?
I am, yeah. I'm trying to get it fitted right, but I've made several critical errors, so that's just where I'm at right now.
Yeah, it's hard. It was
Yeah.
like the pattern only came in one size, so then you have to remeasure it to make it actually your size, and then it seems right, but then when you sew it, it's way too big. So then you have to remeasure it. Yeah.
One
The
of those
whole
classic situations.
Yeah. We've all been there. Yeah, well, we went on a couple tangents, but we were each sharing our favorite moment from the movie, if you want to add yours.
Sweet. What did everyone else say? Or just like a quick excerpt of what other people said. So I'm
Well,
not
we
stealing.
decided that it can't be the Taylor Swift truck scene because that's obviously the
It's
the
too
number one
obvious.
option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, that's fair. That's fair because that honestly is one of my favorite moments. So I'm glad I didn't sell it as my ultimate favorite.
Yeah, it would be embarrassing.
You'd be like, thanks for coming, leave.
Yeah. See if I can just put you back in the waiting room.
Like, just sitting there for a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. But we talked about at the end of that, it's funny that he drives her to her car and it's like literally 1 second away.
Yeah.
We talked about the fight scene when he comes up to her, but he's in the mask, and so she thinks he's gonna kill her, and they fight for like way too long.
So awesome.
It's so long. Let's see, what else do we mention? I feel like Whitney's was just like an overall vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I like the confession scene because it was really overt and it would really only work if the villain is stupid. And I like that.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
I love that a fault like a stunt man is not gonna be the most like subtle person in the world, and I love that a conceited actor is obviously not gonna pick up on that. He's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His
That's
head
true.
is just full of himself. He like can't imagine that something else might be going on.
Yeah. I do love
Yeah.
in that scene how many times he's like just repeats their full names over and over again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very
He has no
subtle.
clue.
Yeah.
He's just like, why
That's
are
the
you
sad
saying
part.
my name all weird like that?
So I
Yeah.
think like scene wise, that one's probably my favorite.
Okay.
That's a really good one.
That is a really good one. Um, I guess I have two. So like we'll do one in the beginning. I like just the beginning where there's like the lively banter. I think it paints a good scene of like what their relationship was like really quick. Where she's
Mhm.
like they're like over the radio, like openly flirting. And it's just like very just like the friendly and you just get the feel for like how they are as a couple.
Mhm.
And it's
Yeah.
cute.
It's really cute. I think it's just like really wholesome and you're just like, oh, I like that. Yeah. So I like that one. And then I like at the very end, I guess this is another like classic scene, but when he's like driving the boat, getting shot at, and he's like talking to her on the phone. And I just think
Mhm.
that's really like there's a lot of emotions
Oh,
with that
that
one.
was
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
And
That
he's
is
I
only
really like
worried
that.
about what she's saying for karaoke, which was a Phil Collins song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Which
Of
again,
course it
like,
was. 'Cause that's a
of
good choice.
course.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
like the music choice throughout the whole movie. I love it so, so much. I love
Yeah.
the I was made for loving you theme throughout the whole. I love it so much. I love
Yeah.
it. So, but yeah, I
So
love that
good.
scene. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's my actual favorite scene. Like, it's just so good. I think they did it so well because the whole movie is so uh funny and like you don't really take any of it seriously. And then they did so good at being like, this is the serious moment. Like he thinks he's
Yeah.
gonna die and he's asking her what karaoke song she sang, you know?
Yeah.
And then I
That's
listen to
true.
that song and I'm like, this is where he thought he was gonna die. And
It brings you back.
yeah.
Yeah. I love too, it's like, yeah, their whole vibe of like the witty banter and they obviously love each other throughout the whole thing we were talking about earlier. Like it's annoying when they have like some contrived breakup. And this movie's like, they're not gonna do that. You just know that they love each other. But I love that
Yeah.
he like in his moment, like he's like about to die. And then her only concern is like somebody's framing him for murder, like I'm in trouble, you know what I mean? She's like high stakes. And he's like, well, what about your movie? What about your karaoke night? Like he's only concerned with like her goals and her like having fun. And she's like, your priorities are so out of whack, but also not, because it shows that his priority is like wherever she is, which is like,
Yeah.
so cute.
The
Yeah.
yeah.
The shorter your hair is, the funner it is to do this.
Yes.
It capitalizes the point even more where there's not hair to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you got to know I'm not doing it to tuck my hair behind my ear. I'm doing it as an
Yeah,
accent with my words.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Olivia, I love your background. It looks like a fake screen, but I know that it's real and it's like
Yeah.
super cool. I love it. Yeah.
So,
Have we-
well, huh?
What?
Hmm?
I was gonna ask, have we talked about the fight scene where there's like they're riding in the dump truck behind the bad guys and that whole thing?
Oh, not yet,
Oh,
but yeah, we need to.
Yeah.
I don't want to miss that discussion. So
Just say, like, I know it's about stuntmen. I know that. And I know that they used stuntmen, like real practical stunts in the 70s when they were doing the original show. But even still, when I was watching it, I was like, they probably didn't even use practical effects. And I was doing other stuff while I was like kind of half watching it. So I wasn't paying super close attention. But then when I saw the scenes at the end where they were like, it was behind the scenes and they were doing real stunts, I was like, I should have known this, but oh my gosh. Yes! You know?
It's so cool. Yeah.
I've just been so used to being let down on every possible front. And then the one moment I'm not, I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like the bar is so low.
Yeah.
It was cool too because the platform that I watched it on, it had a bunch of extras, and so I watched one about Ryan's main stunt man, and they were saying that like a lot of stuntmen don't work out because or it doesn't look authentic because of people's like body language, and it's way more like intricate than you think it is because Ryan Gosling is going to look different when you would imagine he looks different when he's jumping from object to object than a different actor. And so they kind of have to like see how you jump to make it convincing.
That's so cool.
And so
Right.
it's not just like the stunts, but they have to do that type of like acting too. It was really interesting.
even thought about that. So they're acting and doing the stunt because they have to like Ryan Reynolds would when he gets punched in the face.
Yeah, close, Ryan Gosling, but
It makes them out so bad. Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds.
But it's the
is in
same
the
thing.
movie,
I mean,
right?
I'm sure he has a stunt guy, so
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm sure you were just trying to trip up those stunt guys, right? Like, so you're gonna do this how Ryan Reynolds would do it, right? And they're like, no,
exactly what I
no,
was
Gosling, I promise.
It's so good. Yeah, that's something that you don't think about, like how even like after they land and like walk it off or something, it's like, well, you have to
Yeah.
get like their gait right, like how this person
Mhm.
walks.
Especially if
involved.
you're like in pain. Like you
Yeah.
think about how they joke about like how getting set on fire multiple times hurts, but like an actual stunt person had to do that probably way more times than what they used in the movie.
Yeah.
Do you ever think about
Right.
that with like Home Alone?
Oh, I didn't. Because they
I
definitely
watched
use
it.
practical effects for that.
Yes, I watched a documentary about this, like the stunts behind Home Alone, and they've like, I guess they hadn't really tried to do much of that physical comedy in that era that they were in, and so when they have the scene where they're walking on the icy steps and they slip and throw themselves like Looney Tune style backwards onto the concrete, and then they're like, "Ow, ooh, I'm gonna kill that kid." I remember the people on set, they were like, we're going to murder these men in real life. Like, it was not funny. They were
Yeah.
so worried all the time, 100%. They were so convinced they were going to kill these poor stunt guys having to do these things. And they were like, yeah, no, I'll just try it again. Like, it's no big deal. They just are like, whatever. And the director's in tears behind them, like praying that they're still going to be alive.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah,
give
like,
thumbs up.
please. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be so stressful. Yeah, and I'm even like going back to like the dump truck like car chase scene. Every good action movie, you gotta have a car chase. So I love
Yeah,
that they had that and it like works so seamlessly. But it is like even when you're watching it, you're stressed out.
Yeah.
You're like, they're
Yeah.
gonna die in real life. The movie's gonna
When that
end.
thing tipped,
Like that's crazy. It's just like letting the dog take the wheel like it's no biggie. And you're like, no, no, wait, that's so scary. Like,
he trusts that dog so much more than he trusts himself.
yeah.
He's like, this
I
is Jean
really
Claude's
like,
world. I'm just living here.
yeah, I really
Yeah.
like how Jean-Claude just understands the whole English language. Like at some point it morphs into not even being commands anymore. They're just talking to him and he understands.
He's like, no, 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 don't worry.
Yeah.
I've surveyed
Well,
the scene. I know just what to
Yeah.
I feel like it's important to note that he doesn't understand English. It's the whole of French.
Oh yes.
do. Their French accents are like so American. You know, it's like a kind of close enough word, you know? So I think he's like, I got it. Like,
Yeah.
don't worry about it.
But like how does he know what water bottle is? Like and how would
Or
he know what to
cockatoo.
do with it? Yeah, or cockatoo.
He just has really specific commands.
Yeah.
Yeah, incredible.
That's so good. I love like good Chekhov's guns. There's a like a bunch of them, you know, where he's like, I did Miami Vice. I got good enough at the driving the boat over the fire that I could do it with my hands tied behind my back in the dark.
Hmm. And you're like, interesting. I hope he doesn't have to drive a boat with his hands tied behind his back in the dark later in this movie.
Through a flaming rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love how they zoom in on his jacket before they do that. Like, I just think they filmed it in a really clever way. Like, they treated it like it was a serious action movie and then added the comedy to it. But
Hmm.
you feel the suspense even though it's funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And just the way that
totally.
they like story told without telling you what's happening. And so, you can recognize that what he's thinking in that moment is, hey, I've done this a million times, but he doesn't have to say that.
Yeah. I think that's a really we talk about it a lot, Olivia and I, when movies don't take themselves seriously. But it depends what they're not taking seriously. All of the tension, all of the action in the movie is treated with the gravity of like, yeah, no, he very well could die so
Hmm.
easily. And
Yeah. Like there's real danger. And
Yeah.
you're
yeah,
supposed to feel that, so you have to take that seriously. But then you can't take it so seriously that like the jokes aren't funny and like the
yeah,
romance isn't cute. You know, it's like
Yeah.
you have to have
yeah,
the right level of like respect for all of these things to know how to do them.
exactly. And like when he's calling Jody and is like, this might be it. What song did you sing for karaoke? It's like kind of funny, but not like wink at the audience like, isn't this kind of stupid that this is the question he's asking? It's he's really scared that he's gonna
Hmm.
die right now, and he messed this up with the lady he loves. Like
Mm-hmm.
they treat it seriously enough without you feeling stupid for caring about it.
Yeah. I just love the movie so much. I've watched it 3 times this month.
Aw.
This
At
month,
first it was,
September?
I guess
Or like
last
over
month.
the past month?
Just the past like 4 weeks.
Okay, I was like, wow.
He's really
Yeah, in the
prepared for
last
this.
Just
week,
watching it
I've
every other
watched it.
day.
Yeah.
3 times a day. Yeah.
Well, because I watched it by myself, and then I watched it with you guys, and then I watched it with my sister, and then I discovered I have the extended version. So I
Whoa.
will be watching that probably this week.
Nice.
Finding a movie that you like are so excited about. There's no better
Yeah.
feeling in the world than like realizing I'm gonna just live in this little bubble for the next, potentially 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not speaking from experience or anything, but just hypothetically, somebody could spend that amount of time on something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I
Well,
like
I
that
think your
it's
your flying
very
squirrel arms look a little better.
they do, yeah. I can cut all that off and still have like a little bit of breathing room. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have to do this to myself. I could have just bought a dress. But no, I need a project. Whatever.
So fun.
I like that it's super obvious. Like it felt very 70s. Like a lot of the style, like watching it, I was like, oh, Gail's like, yeah, she's in on it. She's like a bad guy.
You
Like
can tell
you can
because
tell from
she's like so
from the
like
Diet
boss
Coke
lady,
and like yeah,
the sipping the
yeah,
Coke. She has like such a vibe to her. Yeah,
Yeah.
she does. She's got a vibe, capital V.
she's a great character, capital V
She's
vibe
fantastic.
character.
Yeah, I love her. She's great.
And she's British, so of course you know she's in on something.
Yeah. They're never innocent. They
Yeah.
can't be.
Never
That's true. I had a
That's a
professor who would
nefarious
always
group of
say
people.
the British are wicked, and by the end of the class, he'd go, "The British are," and we'd all say, "Yeah," from the bottom of our lungs. So, yeah, you know
Nice.
they're up to something.
Yeah.
I have a framed picture of that teacher in my apartment.
Oh, I was hoping it was him. I was like, what professor was this? And why was it definitely Bashir Bashir? He's awesome because he has the same name
Their
twice.
first and last name. Yeah.
Bashir Bashir. That's awesome.
Amazing. That's a whole vibe. Capital V. Yeah.
Yeah, you talk about an individual with a vibe. This 5'0" Palestinian man who could stare at the front of your backbone. He's the scariest person I've ever known.
I'm scared. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. It was awesome. The framed photo was awesome because people would come over and be like, oh, is this like your like a relative or something? And she's like, no, it's a professor that I had one time.
Several years ago.
Conversation
Yeah, they always...
piece, that's...
Yeah, genuinely.
Yeah.
Except all of my friends that I had out there also had this professor because I met them in that class. So it was only a conversation piece for my roommate's friends who would come over and be like, is that her dad? Is he dead? And my roommate, I'd listen to her from my room, just have to stumble through an explanation that she had no idea who this random framed man is. It's awesome.
I want one in my house. So people will be like, who's this? I was like, this girl that I met on Zoom when we were talking about a movie. It's a professor that she had once. So
I will send you a framed copy of my framed picture. I'll take a picture of my framed picture.
Yes, I want the frame in the picture. And then I want your name. I want you to sign it.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's sweet. I can do that.
And then we can spread it. So like Emily, you can take a picture of the framed picture of the framed picture, sign it, send it to somebody, we like pass it around. Like
yes.
I love that so much. I'm really looking forward to this. It's like better than pen pals. This is amazing.
Yeah. Aww. It's just Bashir Bashir pals. Trying to think if there's anything like glaring that we like missed talking about the movie, you know?
Just going back to the Phil Collins song real quick, you know she was really in love with him because she sang like a Phil Collins like post-breakup song about him. And they still got together. Like that wasn't the nail in the coffin, you know?
Yeah.
You think when someone sings Phil Collins, it's like, oof, you know, you're done. But no, he still pulled. I loved the movie. It was awesome. I had so much fun.
I do love, when he just got drugged and he's like in the hotel, and I love how they have the unicorn, like a super hyper realistic unicorn in every room with it.
Yeah, that was a good moment. And like the like split screen like phone call, you know, where they're like doing similar things at similar times.
Yeah.
So cute, so like 70s and lovely, but then also he just has a unicorn, like he'll pan over and it's just there. Yeah, it's so funny.
There's
so
just
it's like,
so much good
don't
visual
forget.
storytelling. They're so good at it.
Yeah. That's another thing. I love movies about making a movie. That is like I never get tired of it. It's so much fun to me. Or like whenever they have an episode of a TV show and they're like, we're on a film set. That's weird. Why are they putting makeup on these guys? And I'm like, I know you're an actor on a TV show. I see you. I always have so much fun with that. And I love this genre. It's a very fun one for me.
I feel like it's just feel good, but it's not cheesy. Like you guys said before, like it just acknowledges all like there's very real fear and there's very real like a little bit of anxiety during those like fight scenes because they're hardcore. The whole like car with the dump truck that or dumpster thing that like tips over, like there's is intense stuff. But it just is like so feel good at the end too. Well, and throughout it, honestly.
Yeah. I do feel like this is kind of a different topic, but I feel like it was really brave of them for their first real fight scene to be that one in the club where he's high and there's like sparkles and stuff. Because when I was watching it and I went into it with like no knowledge of what it was going to be, I'm like, is this real? Like, I don't know what to think of this. You know, the first time I watched it, I'm like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be following along because it's real or if I'm supposed to be thinking that this is a hallucination. But I think it sets the tone once you find out that it is real and he is actually just incredibly good at beating people up.
Yeah.
because he does it for fake for his profession. I think it's a really smart decision to have that crazy fight scene be the first one because it sets up the rest of the movie of like, okay, this isn't a serious movie. He's just like really good at fighting people in a very stuntman way.
Like even under the influence, like he's not himself, but he's still like it's almost like his reflex is like, oh, somebody's coming up behind me, I know what to do. Yeah. And then later he can like think about the other stuff.
It's almost like Sherlock Holmes-esque, you know, like in Sherlock Holmes where it does like in his mind he like acts out what the fight's gonna look like.
Oh my gosh, are you talking about the Guy Ritchie one with Robert Downey Jr.?
So. Yeah.
No one talks about that movie.
No, I talk about it a lot, so
Well, we gotta talk more.
I'm just kidding. But just
I love that.
Yeah, the level of skill is, I feel like, very similar. So
yeah, it was a deep cut. That's good.
Yeah, dang. Spitting bars. Plus, I like that there's a lot of potential for a sequel, and they did that on purpose, and they left room for it. Like, the original show is this guy's a stuntman, but in his spare time, he just solves crimes. And that's like, he does both. It's whatever.
Because everybody needs a hobby.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
Yes. And that's what they do at the end, is they have their own little company, and he's, we're gonna do this again. Come back. I hate when they try to wring a sequel out of a story that doesn't need a sequel. But the source material is such that there's so much room for sequels.
Yeah.
It's a serial show. Like, yeah, there's gonna be room for other stories. And I like that they did that in the movie too. They're like, we could be back if you wanted, if you say please enough. Like,
yeah, it's nice to have like that open-ended, so there's room for it to have a sequel, but it's not like incomplete. Like, it's not ending on a cliffhanger and now you have to have a second movie. It's like it's comfortable either way. I think it's hard to like strike that balance sometimes where like a movie will either demand a sequel or it'll, like you said, like it gets a sequel, but it just like super didn't need one. Like, why do we have to like why? So it's hard to have that like in between where it can stand on its own or it can stand as the first movie and then there's a second movie.
Yeah. I would love more from this universe, but second movies with things like this scare me because it's going to be conflict in their relationship because how much more conflicts can you add from the outside when
they better
they've
not.
already tried to murder him?
I know, it's like, don't do it. And that's like the same thing as like, well, they might as well have just broken up in the first movie then. Like, if in the second movie they're not together anymore, you're like, then why didn't we just watch this whole thing where they stick together through it all?
Yeah.
Like,
love one out. Let it win. Like, let it lie. Yeah.
Exactly. there's other
were talking
adventures that
about
you can have as a couple. Like they could like
Yeah.
get it
yeah.
could be like they're planning their wedding and they also have this other thing going on, or like you know what I mean, like they're wanting to start a family but they also have this other thing. Like it can be part of a healthy relationship and then also have these several other plot lines going on.
Yeah.
They did it fine in the first one. Like you don't have to break them up for the second one.
Yeah.
We were talking about The Mummy yesterday, and that's what they do in The Mummy, the sequel, is they spend the whole time getting together in the first movie, and in the second they're married with a kid. None of that nonsense of like,
Of
oh,
like,
but do you remember how we broke
Evie,
up?
I haven't heard from her for 5 years, and you're like, why not?
I hate that.
If you loved her so much.
So annoying.
Yeah.
And like I think he would say that in the second movie, but that's just because she went to the kitchen to get a drink. You know? And he's like, I've missed you so much. You've been gone for so long. She's like, I literally saw you 2 minutes ago. They're so in love with each other. It's disgusting. That's what I want, you know? We
And
have
like,
the will they won't they dynamic already. Show me what they're like established as a couple.
Yeah.
I feel like them as a director stunt guy duo, like they can do any movie. It'd be amazing.
Aww.
That's
and they can solve any crime.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're living in a world that has a lot of drama in it. So you can definitely find some problems to cause that are outside of their relationship.
That's so true.
Very true.
Oh, this is a bit of a tangent as well, but and then I probably really do have to go, but I also really like that in the mid-credit scene they have Aaron Taylor Johnson running through the pyrotechnics field trying to get bars on the cell phone, and then they just explode him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I say a lot, I wish we just killed villains in a comically over the top way these days, because we don't anymore. I feel like as a society, as a country, we've lost that. Yeah.
We used to
I
be
don't
a
want
great
them
nation.
to be in prison. I want them to be dead.
Yes,
Yeah,
I want
exactly.
them to explode him so hard.
He needs closure, and you need something just like a cartoonishly, like over the top to happen to him. So it's perfect.
Yeah,
and the consequences of his own actions.
Yeah,
yes.
All of those at once.
He was
like,
the one being
so
ignorant.
hard.
Yeah.
He was such a jerk, and all of a sudden it's so satisfying. You're like, oh, what a good ending for him. Like, I'm so happy that that's how it went down.
I'm so happy for him. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so happy for you. Oh, you exploded? I'm so happy for you. I love that for you. Yeah, if the people who are gonna make the sequel to this movie are watching this, get us on your like writing team.
So
we know what
genuinely. To do. This group of 4 people, and we can tell you what not to do. We have an equally long list of both of those things.
Yeah. We have do's and don'ts. Like, don't even worry about it.
We don't have to tell you what to do. Just give us your script and we'll tell you what not to do.
Yeah.
I've been saying that they need to do this for years. 4 years.
Like any movie, you're like, oh, come on, you should have run it by me first.
Yeah.
I could have cleaned that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my most strongly held beliefs is that I could have saved Vampire Diaries. I could have done it. It wasn't ever meant to be a good show anyway, but I could have made it. I could have made it be that way. I could have done that. And if I weren't like 12 when it was coming out, I could have.
Yeah. They just didn't give you enough time.
No, they should have let me grow up first, and then I would have got to it.
Saving the world, one TV show at a time, right?
Yeah.
Starting with Vampire Diaries.
Exactly. Well, I think this was a really productive conversation because I really like talking about movies and I like meeting new friends. And also, I think I mostly fixed this. So.
Nice. That's 3 wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks all right, yeah? I mean, it's still a little bit to fix, but.
Yeah, but you can't tell that it was like gigantor.
So big.
It was huge.
It was like bigger at the base than it was here. And that's not usually how that goes.
That's like the opposite of your proportions. That's not what you wanted.
Yeah. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe I sewed it together upside down.
Oh, yeah.
To the best of us.
Yeah.
Emily and Hailey, it was very nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Olivia?
Be seeing you.
If we were in person, I would have just given you a firm handshake, and that's all.
Yeah,
So
I felt it. Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Yeah, it's my bedtime.
Yeah,
Have a good bedtime.
I'm gonna leave.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. The firm handshake is so real. She lived with my family for a little bit, and our bedrooms were right next to each other, and every single day we'd be like, oh my gosh, what are you doing in town? I didn't know you were here. Firm handshake every single day.
Love that. Oh man.
Yeah, it's a good time. Oh, how long has it been? I didn't know you were up here. Yeah. Say hi to the wife and kids for me when we leave. It was awesome. Well, I'm glad you could make it.
Yeah, I'm sorry it's so late. It's the sign is a good date, right? I didn't think it would go
I
that
know. I
long.
need to hear about it.
I know. Do we want to hear it now? Let's record it. Put it on the internet.
I'll cut it out. It's okay.
I realized when Whitney asked how my date was, and I was like, good. I was like, it didn't sound very good. So maybe cut that out too, because it was better than good. So
Right. You're just focused.
I mean, it is
You're
a
like, I
little
gotta
bit-
talk about the Fall Guy. I don't have time for this.
It's a little bit intimidating when a person you've never met, the first thing they ask you is, how was your date?
good.
Nice. I'm glad it went well.
Yeah. Sorry it made me so late. Hate that guy. Big jerk.
Yeah. Ugh. So doesn't respect your time. Obviously, this was super important.
Well, we just lost track of time, and then it was getting dark, and I'm like, how is it getting dark? It's only like 6 o'clock. And I was like, oh, it's almost 8. Yep. Whoops.
It's okay. They were telling me to not watch Love Actually and Sleepless in Seattle. So
It's a kind of controversial opinion, but we feel like they're overrated.
Really?
Yeah.
Love Actually and Sleepless in Seattle.
Yeah.
Like the you need a good chick flick. Like those are like the chick flicks.
Yeah, those are like the famous names, but we feel like they're just like talked about too much. They're like in an echo chamber. But there's so many other good like rom-coms that are less talked about.
Well, I won't be watching that tonight. No, that's what I was planning on, but now I feel like I can't watch Sleepless
I was gonna do a double feature.
You can watch
or better
Fall Guy extended cut.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah. I want to know what like parts they extend. I'm interested.
I know.
Yeah, it'll be
Probably
interesting.
Fight scene when he's like in that costume and
yeah, they actually went on for 12 minutes.
That's actually the only extended part of it.
Yeah. The only thing different is she just like keeps attacking him.
Yeah.
She's got 2 other pens that she like shoves into other.
Just keeps going. He's like a porcupine.
Yeah.
Full of pens.
And he has like toaster cords wrapped around him.
And you're like, at any point you could say, it's me. Like you could do that, but he just doesn't for the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, well, if that's what it is, let us know.
Yeah,
I will.
Yeah, won't put money on it yet, but I feel like it's pretty. Odds are good. So
yeah, it's likely. You're always welcome back on the show anytime. So you can pick a movie. You can just come in blind. It doesn't really matter. Sometimes it'll be like a movie that Whitney really loves that I saw once like 15 years ago, and I'm like, cool, I got it, and I don't rewatch it. I just go in. I'm like, why do I do this? Because I certainly would have more to say if I like did my homework, but I'm like, I've seen it. I'll figure it out.
like I read the book a long time ago. I'm in. I got this.
Yeah, I got it. I'm good to go.
We love that. Great.
Yeah.
Glad I could be part of 45 minutes of it. So
yeah, me too. It's good stuff. We really did spend the first 45 minutes like chatting, so
yeah,
it was okay.
okay, good.
It was not very structured about the movie. We were just like, so what are your guys' favorite parts? And then we talked about a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
That weren't involved with the movie at all.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
I'm glad I could be part of it. Yeah.
Me too.
No,
oh, did we ever tell you about the STEM acronym?
Oh, I don't think we did.
I don't think we did.
It's super it's quite specific.
Okay.
Because there weren't a lot of easy like words that starts with an S, starts with a T, starts with an E, starts with an M, so we could make STEM. So we had to kind of work our way around it a little bit. Actually, some of them we had options, so maybe you can be like the deciding vote. For
Yeah.
S, it could be stunts, it could be stuntman, or it could be $6 million man. For a kind of more subtle.
The other options for T. Yeah.
T. Oh shoot, it's been
T was
so long.
Taylor
Taylor
Swift
Swift
or truck
or
or
truck
Taylor Swift in the truck.
in the truck, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's some combination of those. But Taylor Swift in the truck has a lot of T's.
Yeah. So that feels appropriate.
Yeah.
I'm thinking stuntman, Taylor Swift in the truck, and then what are the other
Okay,
ones?
that's really good. The other ones, I think we just had one each.
E
The E was
is
for
Emily Blunt's what is it?
Emily Blunt's
Co
co-star, Ryan Gosling.
Co-star Ryan Gosling.
So it's for Ryan Gosling, but since his name doesn't start with an E, we have to kind of squish it in there.
So it's Emily Blunt's co-star Ryan Gosling. It's not about her.
Yes. But then the M is for Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
So we still get her in there.
I love it so much. Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes that's the most fun part of the episode. It's like trying to like squish these random words into. It's really good. We did one for Across the Spider-Verse, and we couldn't think of any like we came up with a title. I don't remember what it was, but my initial thought was just Spider-Man, technology, engineering, and mathematics. I thought it would be so funny. Like, just only change one of them.
Spider-Man, technology, engineering, and math.
Yeah, it's good.
When
It
I
rolls
sign
off
up
the
for
tongue.
STEM, that's what I'm signing up for.
Yeah. You're like, if I'm gonna be a woman in STEM, I want to study Spider-Man and then also like math. Like
Yeah.
Spider-Man and one of the other three. I really don't care, but
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
exactly.
Sure.
Just like pick one. Yeah. Okay.
Hold on, awkward. I can't find the
Bye.
leave. Okay, bye.
Oh no.
Yay, she left. Okay, bye.
Yeah, we have a second podcast.
Yeah. Okay, now it's time for the real podcast where we
Yeah.
drive back to Montana. The
Oh
two of
yeah.
us.
Stay in the lake house. Watch all the movies on her family's like Amazon account. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, living the dream.
Yeah. And leave really good ratings for the girly ones on
Oh yeah.
the bros.
So we can mess up their algorithm. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good plan.